Pleasant Grove Police.
I just found something in my garage. It's been wrapped up in a plastic bag and it stinks.
Okay, what is it?
It's a little baby.
Pleasant Grove Police received a chilling 911 call. Upon arrival, they met Darren West, who appeared deeply shaken after a disturbing conversation with his wife, Megan Huntsman. What she revealed to him had left him horrified, and it was just the beginning.
And I just said, what the hell is this? What have you done? I always found something. She goes, oh, you did?
Get that for
Don't call the police, don't call the police, I'm gonna get it.
As police stepped into the garage with Darren, they had no idea of the horrors that awaited them inside.
I remember there being some sort of form of tape. As we got deeper into that box, we'd find a second child.
There could be more. Like I said, I can't remember a damn thing.
How many do you think there would be?
Holy what is going on?
April 12th, 2014. Darren had recently returned home after serving a prison sentence for drug-related charges. He had come back to start fresh, clean up the house. When the officers arrived in Pleasant Grove, Utah, he came across a box that sent shivers down his spine. This discovery prompted the call to 911, and soon the investigation began.
Pleasant Grove Police.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Can I have an officer come to this address?
And your name?
My name's Darren West. I just found something in my garage. I think it's a miscarriage.
Can you be more specific? What do you mean by a miscarriage you found?
I have no idea. Just please send an officer up here.
It sounds like you may need medical.
It's been wrapped up in a plastic bag and it stinks.
Okay, what is it?
It's a little baby.
When the officers arrived in Pleasant Grove, Utah, they found Darren standing outside the garage with several family members who had come to assist him in moving in. The garage door was wide open, and Darren's expression said everything. He had uncovered something dreadful.
Who lives here?
Us three.
1, 2, 3.
The double house, the basement and the upstairs are two different.
My two daughters live here. See, we've been cleaning the garage.
Okay.
And then got a 48-hour pass, and I have.
Here, we went on home and find yeah, he's in a halfway house. You've been cleaning out the garage.
I'm trying to get, because I've been gone for so long. And
Anyway, there was a box over there. It was all wrapped up, and he says, what is
The officers braced themselves as they approached the suspicious box that sparked the emergency call. What they saw was nothing unusual at first, an ordinary fruit box, but it was tightly sealed with layers of electrical tape.
There were boxes from floor to ceiling on all three walls. There's hundreds of boxes. How are we going to get through all of these? So we contacted the medical examiner's office, and they sent out an investigator. Bewilderment, shock. I was speechless. How could you fathom something like that? The big obvious question is what is this child doing here? Who's the mother? Where did it come from?
That in itself raised red flags. Inside the box, they found a plastic bag, also wrapped in multiple layers of duct tape, suggesting that someone had gone to great lengths to keep its contents hidden. When the investigators finally opened the box, the reality was more horrifying than they could have imagined. They had uncovered the decomposed remains of a baby. The garage was quickly sealed off as a crime scene. The officers were stunned and uncertain about what had truly happened. But one thing was immediately clear. This was now a homicide investigation. They began searching through the rest of the garage, moving box by box, not knowing that the horror had only just begun.
Let's start off with, is it your wife or is your girlfriend?
I'm still married to her, but.
Okay, so legally, according to law, it's still your wife.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't you tell me what her name is?
Megan Huntsman. What happened is when I went to prison, she stuck around for 2 or 3 years and she took off.
But she is with a boyfriend now.
Where is she?
In West Valley somewhere.
We just had her on the phone. She said it was his.
And I just said, what the hell is this? What have you done? I always found something. She goes, oh, you did?
Get that for
Don't call the police, don't call the police, I'm gonna get it.
So she said it was yours. Logically, is that true?
I don't know, man. I never knew she.
But one major question lingered. Where was Megan Huntsman?
Are you able to help us understand what's going on here? It was a miscarriage.
It was like 9 years ago when we first left.
And how far into your pregnancy were you?
Like 7 months. It was born, still born.
How soon can you come down here? Our detectives need to ask you some follow-up questions so that we can, rule out any kind of foul play.
Okay, there was no foul play.
Okay, listen to me. I need you to stay at your residence. We're going to have a West Valley City officer come pick you up.
As the police launched a deeper investigation, they also turned their focus to Megan. She was the only one who could provide answers to the terrifying mystery.
Well, you know why we're here,
Yeah.
what we're here to talk about. Just start at the beginning and tell me what happened.
Well, we were doing drugs a lot. That's what he was in prison for. I got pregnant right before he left, and I really didn't know because I thought it was just stress and stuff.
He went to prison in 2006.
Yeah.
How far along were you when you
For a
were
couple months.
Where did you have it?
In the bathroom.
In the house that you owned. Describe to me what happened.
Oh, I was having a lot of pain that day. I didn't go to work. My kids were at school. I went in the bathroom. I sat there and pushed really hard. And I was blue and wasn't crying. And I was by myself and I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't get it to cry or anything.
Then what happened?
I got scared and I wrapped it up. Being not being smart and told you guys I was in shock and it was stupid of me to do it.
What do you mean when you say you wrapped it up?
You remember? It was towels and garlic butter on it. I put it in the box.
What would you have done differently? Looking back.
I called the cops and told them that I had a baby and that I couldn't get to breathe and have the paramedics and stuff come.
Megan repeated the same story she had told Darren, that the baby had been a stillborn. Despite appearing visibly upset, there were many details in Megan's account that just didn't add up.
Okay, so you're on the toilet, you have the baby. You said you tried to get it to breathe. What did you do?
I tried just to clean this girl down and stuff, and I couldn't get a response at all.
Okay.
I couldn't feel a heartbeat or anything.
Okay. So you clean the baby's mouth out, try to get it to breathe. And then what?
I passed out for a little bit. I think I lost a lot of blood. And then I just drew my kids got home from school and they just told me I wasn't feeling them. And then I cleaned myself up and I went and got a box.
And then, as far as you know, unless someone else moved it, the baby's been in the box in the garage since that first year that Darren went to prison. Good.
I cleaned that garage for years.
Were you worried somebody else would find it when you guys were cleaning the garage?
Yeah.
And so what would you do to make sure that didn't happen?
I just kind of slide it and like sweep around, and then set stuff on it and, but they knew that part was already clean and stuff.
While Darren waited outside with his family, officers began digging through the property, trying to understand how such a tragedy had gone unnoticed for so long.
Because I was so scared, I don't know what I was thinking. I have no idea.
Do you remember if the baby was a boy or a girl? So, did anyone know that you were pregnant?
I don't show at all.
Did you tell Darren?
No.
Okay. Had you ever had any stillborn babies prior to that?
Miscarriages.
And on these miscarriages, did they all happen at home?
What happened at home?
All right. Is there anything else that you think I should have asked you that I haven't asked you?
So,
Is there anything else that you want me to know?
no.
And we really want the right thing for this baby, proper burial and closure for you and for your family. Your husband went to prison, you're raising the kids on your own, and you're overwhelmed, and I can understand that. I mean, Darren just found out that he had another kid that he didn't know about, so.
I totally understand that.
What do you think proper closure looks like? Anything else?
Me going to jail.
Well, it's clear that we think you should go to jail for this, that you recognize you've done something wrong. We haven't made any decisions like that. We're still just trying to put the story together at this point.
Neighbors had long complained about a strange and foul smell coming from the garage, but no one had investigated further. Now, the smell made sense.
I remember there being some sort of form of tape over it, and then as we opened it up, there's heavy padding and packaging, more plastic wrap. As we got deeper into that box, we did ultimately find a second child. I felt angry, and I remember thinking, what in the actual hell is going on?
As more officers arrived, they were assigned to search the property thoroughly. Every corner, every box, every closet. Meanwhile, Megan was brought in for questioning. Detective Ben Beckstrom was tasked with leading the interrogation.
We have investigators in the house right now. They found a second baby. Will you please tell me about that?
There's more. Hey, I'm sorry. I have hit every one of them, and he had to have known I was pregnant through most of them.
There's others? How many?
I'm not even sure. I was on so many drugs and stuff during it all. I can't even remember.
When?
All through the years.
His initial question was simple. Why didn't Megan report the baby's death or call for medical help? Megan's answer was equally simple. She claimed the baby had been stillborn. She repeated this story several times, even as inconsistencies began to emerge.
And if it's easier for you to remember, if we want to start after you had your first child, when you had the first miscarriage.
One, right after we moved in, I can't even remember. I remember when I had in the tub. They were all stillborn. Every one of them.
Were they full term?
No, without pain.
Okay, so how many do you think will we find in the garage?
4.
Did you put all 4 in the garage?
Yeah.
Did you keep them in the same place in the garage? What did you?
Right there. Covered.
Okay, and so all 4 boxes are in the same place? Okay, well, I just want to be able to relay to the detectives what they're going to find. And so all 4
Yes.
are in the cabinet in the garage?
Yes.
Why didn't you call for help?
I'm afraid people know I'm pregnant.
I mean, this is Utah. It's not common for people to have a lot of kids.
Oh, because I was young, because I was so young.
Several years later, though, when this happened, I mean, you're not so young.
I know. But like I said, the drugs, they mess with you. Bad.
So you're telling me that because you were on drugs, you weren't making good decisions?
Yeah, exactly.
Does it feel better to tell the truth?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, just a minute.
Though she was visibly emotional, the detective noticed that certain parts of her story didn't align. Megan said she was overwhelmed while Darren was in prison, that she had turned to drugs, and that her judgment had been clouded. But even with her emotional state and history of addiction, something didn't sit right with Detective Beckstrom. The level of secrecy, the wrapping, the hiding, suggested something far more deliberate. What truly raised suspicions was Megan's intense fear of going to prison. If the baby was stillborn and no crime had technically been committed aside from the concealment of a body, why was she so terrified? Her guilt appeared too deep for a mere accident. The detective felt that Megan wasn't telling the whole truth. And back at the house, the officers made a discovery that would confirm his worst fears.
You know, we've talked about a lot. I don't know yet. We haven't made those decisions because we're doing the search warrant still. And because of the seriousness of this, they are also going to obtain a search warrant for your house in West Valley. Is there anything in that house that we need to know about before we go up there?
For me, no. All that's up there is my clothes.
Okay. So you have the babies been in the garage the whole time?
I never moved them or anything. But yeah, they've been in the garage the whole time.
So
Yeah.
we're talking 8 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, you told me earlier that you put the boxes with the babies in them in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Did you ever take them out of that cabinet?
No.
I imagine in the last 9 years, stuff's been in and out of the
I
cabinet.
think so, because I was just there a month or so ago getting my bed and stuff out of there, and I seen it sitting there.
Right. And so did anyone in the world know that the baby was in the garage? Okay.
So,
Well, they're saying one of the boxes was on a stack of shelves next to the cabinet. Why would it be there?
unless I moved it or something, but it's not thinking.
Do you know when that might have been?
Before I left, I did. I mean, I haven't been in that house. I've only once since I moved out.
During the search, police uncovered another sealed box. Just like the first, it had a strong stench and was wrapped with several layers of tape. When they opened it, they found a second decomposed infant. Then another box, and another. Each one revealed a grim reality. These were not isolated events. They were part of a pattern.
I want to make sure that there's no more weight on your shoulders. Okay. When you have these babies,
Yes.
you said after they were born and they were blue and you would try to get them to breathe. What would you do to try to get them to breathe?
Sometimes I was so scared,
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Sorry, like shake them, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Did you have like the suction cup they used to clean out their mouths?
Use my finger and stuff.
You described you had the one in the tub that you filled the tub and had.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
Was that baby alive when it was born?
I think it was for a short time.
What
I mean,
happened?
well, you think if I have baby in the house, I just cry, so
Mm-hmm. Well, you say you think it was for a short time. What
Yeah.
was it moving? Did it start to breathe?
No, it wasn't breathe. I could see a little heartbeat and then it stopped.
Okay. For about how long?
Not very long.
Okay. The one that you had when he was in prison that you were on the toilet. Was that one alive when it was born? Okay. Where were the other two born?
One on the bed and the other on the
Okay. The one on the bed when it was born. Do you think it might have been alive for a short time as well?
The odor grew stronger with each new box they opened. Officers began to notice a sticky liquid seeping from the bags. As the gravity of the situation became clearer, they contacted Detective Beckstrom, who now knew Megan had more to answer for. He returned to question her again, this time with a clearer picture of what was happening.
Did you kill the baby after it was born? What we need is the truth.
I did one of those.
Which one?
No, I was just so scared. I was so on drugs so bad.
How did you cook it?
Yeah.
Do you think all four of these babies were alive when they were born?
I'm pretty sure one of them wasn't.
And did you cook the others?
Yes, I did.
And you put them in a towel, put them in garbage bags, and then put them in a box and put it in the garage?
Yes.
So one was dead when it was born and the other three you cooked. And why did you cook them?
I don't know. Scared, I was in shock.
Have you ever told anyone this?
No, I've never told a soul.
So when we run DNA tests, will they all be Darren's?
Yes, I will.
Is there anything else we need to know about?
No.
All right.
Megan admitted she had struggled with drug addiction for years, especially methamphetamine. She also drank heavily. These substances had deeply impaired her judgment. However, even that couldn't explain away what was found. Beckstrom pressed harder, knowing something even more horrifying was about to be revealed.
Once I'm out of her sight, my hands went to my knees, and I had to take several breaths to really process. Holy, she had killed these babies.
Eventually, Megan made a shocking confession. The babies hadn't been stillborn. She had killed them, one by one. Every time she became pregnant, she concealed it from everyone. And when she gave birth, she would end their lives, wrap them up, and store the bodies in boxes in the garage. It was deliberate, calculated, and repeated over many years.
This was probably one of the longest days in my career. It was emotionally straining, physically exhausting. And the feeling in the air was dread, but also determination to find out what in the hell actually had happened. Eventually, we found baby number 3.
After hearing this, Detective Beckstrom immediately alerted officers at the scene. A full-scale search was launched. Over 24 officers scoured the house for hours, opening every box, checking every cabinet, lifting floorboards, and searching crawl spaces. As the hours passed, they found more and more remains. A third body, then a fourth, then a fifth, hidden under towels in the back of a cubbyhole. Officers were physically and emotionally overwhelmed. Just when they thought they'd seen the worst, another box turned up, and another body.
I'm told that there is a 5th baby found at the home. Now it's becoming almost exhausting. How many could there be? And what is going on?
Right, Megan, I'm really happy with how far you've come, but concerned that you haven't told me everything. How many do you think there possibly could be?
Honestly, I don't know how many. 4 I can think of, but I don't.
Okay, they are up to 5. And so now that there's 5, are you still only certain that one of them was dead when it was born? And so the other 4 were alive?
There could be more. Like I said, I can't remember a damn thing.
How many do you think there would be?
I'd say 8 or 9.
When they're done searching the garage, they are going to search the rest of the house. Will they find any more?
No.
Okay. So there could be 8 or 9?
Yeah, there could be. But I know there's no more than that. And I know there's none in the house. I mean, you'd smell them if they were in the house.
Right. Did the smell from the garage ever come in the house? It would just be out in the garage.
People said it was some smell, you know, like in the heat of the summer. We had cats and stuff, and you know, and I think it was always just blamed on that.
Did you just leave it open?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying Darren never knew?
No, and I told you, only me. I've kept this to myself for 18 years.
So I'm the only person that you've ever told?
Yes.
The count eventually reached 7. 7 dead infants, all hidden in various states of decomposition inside Megan's garage. The final 2 were wrapped in sweaters and packed inside a cabinet box. By now, the horror of what they were facing had fully set in, and still, the investigators pressed on, determined to find out whether there were even more victims.
When I talked to you earlier, you mentioned that Darren should have known. What do you mean by that? Did you tell her?
No. And I don't know why. I think my mind was just so out of it, you know? All I focused on was the next fix. But how can you not know? How can you sleep with someone every night and not know that?
When we're talking about Darren knowing that you were pregnant because he's in your bed, those aren't miscarriages. And so did you just tell him that you miscarried?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you told him that it was a miscarriage, he never asked what you did with the miscarriage? Okay.
They searched Megan's former home in West Valley as well, leaving no possibility unexamined. Although no additional bodies were found there, they did discover drugs, Xanax pills, and various paraphernalia that painted a dark picture of Megan's mental and physical state during the years the crimes occurred. With enough evidence in hand, authorities arrested Megan Huntsman. She was booked on 6 counts of first-degree murder, with the 7th baby believed to have been stillborn. However, as more pieces of the puzzle were examined, it became evident that the story might still be incomplete.
I'm just having damn extra much, so I'm trying to talk to everybody, make sure I know that it's been a horrible day for a lot of you. So you're not in trouble right now. I'm just trying to understand everything that's happened. So she's saying that baby was a miscarriage after he went in prison.
That's what she told me. Is that what she's still saying?
Yes. We did get a search warrant in the house, and there's more than one. And so, how many times was your wife pregnant?
I have 3 daughters, and I know one other time that she had a miscarriage. I never even knew she was pregnant with 2 of my daughters until she was like 4 or 5 months along. And then she told me, you know, I don't know, sir.
There's...
How many was there?
There was 7.
You were kidding me.
I'm not. She said that the first one was shortly after you moved into the house.
Oh my God.
And that the last one, she was pregnant by you before you went to prison.
Wait, so she says they're all mine?
That's what she says. And that's why I'm glad you're here, because I would have thought that if she was pregnant 7 times in the 10-year period that you lived in that house, that surely you would have known.
Holy.
Detectives then turned their attention to Darren. Could he really have lived in the same house and not known about any of these pregnancies or deaths? During his own questioning, Darren broke down. He sobbed into his hands, overwhelmed by what he had learned. He insisted that he had no idea what Megan had done, no clue that she was hiding pregnancies, let alone committing murder.
Said you knew that she was pregnant once. Are you talking about one other time than the miscarriage, or are you talking about something else?
That's the only time I know. I was so messed up on freaking drugs and I don't know what was going on.
I can tell that you know about more than what you're telling me. Megan hid pregnancies from everybody until shortly before she had kids. But you're saying that she told you when she was 4 months along. I believe that you knew about these pregnancies.
I swear to God, I never knew about all these pregnancies.
But what's happened here is tragic. But I don't think that you killed these babies and hid them. I think that you were married to a woman who was going to do it her way, and then you were done fighting with her, and so you allowed her to make these decisions. Is that what happened?
I never would think that she would put babies in a box and freaking...
So what did you think she was doing with these pregnancies?
I didn't realize she was pregnant 7 freaking times.
I'm a married man. You know your wife's pregnant. And so she's telling me that the only one that you weren't around for is when you went to prison.
Honest to God, I didn't know that there were 7 babies in my garage.
I know.
I never knew there was 1 in there. Do you think I would have go out, clean the garage, and then, you know what I mean?
I understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying you knew they were in the garage, but I'm saying you had to know that they were brought into the world.
But Detective Beckstrom wasn't ready to take him at his word. He needed to be sure. He pressed Darren for more details, trying to determine whether he had ever suspected anything unusual during their years together. Darren stood by his story. He had been oblivious, focused on his own problems, and often absent due to his criminal behavior and drug use. In February 2015, Megan Huntsman was formally charged with 6 counts of murder. During the trial,
Justice for 6 babies killed right after birth by their own mother as she pleads guilty to 6 counts of murder.
And the judge gave her the maximum sentence that could keep her locked up for the rest of her life.
She admitted to killing 6 of her own newborn children between 1996 and 2006, while claiming that one of them was stillborn. She received 6 consecutive sentences of 5 years to life, effectively guaranteeing she would never leave prison. The case left everyone, investigators, neighbors, even seasoned officers, deeply disturbed. How could so many people, including her husband, not notice? And what role did drug abuse truly play in this nightmare? This case serves as a devastating reminder of how addiction can warp the human mind.
Megan had a family that she was raising. But on the flip side of that coin, she also had 7 dead children in her garage that she had murdered. I don't know what her motive was. I don't care what her motive was. But the fact of the matter is she did it, and that was unfathomable to me.
How secrecy, mental illness, and substance abuse can combine to create unimaginable tragedy. It also raised hard questions about the responsibility of those around Megan, questions that may never be fully answered. What do you think? Was this purely the result of Megan's addiction, or was something even darker at play? And how could Darren have been unaware of what was happening in his own home? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if there's another case you want us to cover, drop it below. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.